Good morning and thanks for tuning into the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. All the biggest news stories from India and across the world coming up in the next 30 minutes. I'm Ashwarya Kapoor with you. Here are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi to address 8-nation SCO summit in Kyrgyzstan today. Focus areas to include terrorism, regional cooperation and economic growth. Bilateral talks with the member nations. Inauguration of India-Kyrgyzstan Business Forum also slated. Talks on peace-building efforts in Afghanistan at the sidelines of the SCO summit. In other meetings, Prime Minister Modi underscores Pakistan's failure to ensure terror-free environment in talks with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. Emphasizes strategic partnership, defense cooperation with Russian President Putin. In West Bengal, junior doctors' protest affects medical services in the state for the fifth day, backing their demand for better security. Government doctors in Delhi also announced day-long strike. Cyclone VAYU changes course towards Oman. Coastal Gujarat on high alert for heavy rains. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh reviews Navy preparedness. And in the ICC Cricket World Cup, hosts England to take on West Indies at Southampton today. Rain forces Team India to share a point with New Zealand at Nottingham. Our top story is from Kyrgyzstan, where on the second day of his two-day visit to the country, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the plenary session of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization or the SCO summit in Bishkek. Now, PM Modi will hold also delegation-level talks with the top leadership of Kazakhstan in his first meeting of the day. He is also slated to hold talks with the presidents of Belarus and Mongolia. The extended format meeting of all the 8 SCO members will begin at around noon, and at that meeting, the Prime Minister is expected to articulate India's position on dealing with major challenges facing the region, including a rising threat of terrorism. India is also likely to focus on the importance of regional connectivity projects to boost trade among the members of the SCO countries. And later in the day, PM Modi will also hold bilateral talks with the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. Both the leaders are likely to focus on how India and Iran intend to move forwards on the oil sanctions imposed on Iran by the United States. Now, this would be the first time that the two leaders will meet after PM Modi assumed the office of the Prime Minister for the second time. And the Prime Minister will then inaugurate the India-Kyrgyz Business Forum along with the President of Kyrgyzstan. And in his last engagement of the day today, PM Modi will hold delegation-level talks with the Kyrgyz President. And our correspondent has sent us this latest from Bishkek in this report.
Summit-level meeting of Shanghai Cooperation Organization is being held in Bishkek of Kyrgyzstan. This is the place where summit will take place. This is the place where member nations, the heads of governments, the observer states, and also those who are dialogue partners will come here and do a brainstorming on the prevalent world situation. They will talk about terrorism, they will talk about confrontation in trade, and they will also talk about how cooperation can be increased so that the whole area, the whole of Central Asian countries can have a prosperous future. Very interestingly, Shanghai Cooperation Organization was started in 1995 as Shanghai 5, but later it expanded. And now India and Pakistan both are permanent member of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will reach here at around 10 a.m. in the morning, and there will be brainstorming among a restricted meeting among the permanent member nations and then observer states, and also those who are dialogue partners will join in. There will be also a declaration called Bishkek Declaration. It is understood that Bishkek Declaration will incorporate the issues against terrorism, will also incorporate the cooperation among the Central Asian countries, India, China, Russia and other countries, and also there might be some sort of elements that how to combat the trade war that is going on in the world. So it will be interesting to see that how member nations, how they decide about the whole region, the whole world. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Television with camera person Yogesh Agarwal in Bishkek of Kyrgyzstan.
And in fact, Akhilesh Suman is now joining us on more on this story from Bishkek. Very good morning, Akhilesh. So a busy day for the Prime Minister today. He will address, of course, the plenary session of the SCO summit today, where he will present his views for the regional cooperation and development. And on the sidelines also, PM is going to hold bilateral talks with the presidents of Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Belarus and Iran. And of course, there's also the India-Kyrgyz Business Forum slated for the day. Indeed, a very important and a busy day for the Prime Minister, Akhilesh.
Really very important and very busy day as far as SCO is concerned. You know, this is the opportunity when any Prime Minister or President has the opportunity to talk to the member nations and also in a way talk to the world, because media aspirates all the things, that what are the opportunities in the world and what are the problems in the world and how can a country can contribute to resolve the issues. Also, this is the occasion when you can connect with other member nations who are there. You can connect directly, you can connect one-to-one, and so that you can have an organic relation with the head of the states of those countries. So I think these are the two elements that any summit meeting does have, and I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi utilizes all those opportunities in utmost possible way, and that is why he is also holding 4 bilateral summits in addition to the SCO summit, and yesterday also he held 3. So in that way, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's whole strategy is that in the second term, he wants to bolster the ties that he already had worked upon in the first term. And in this way, one element is very important. Not for India, but for all the region, because this region is always supposed to be vulnerable to terrorism, because of the situation in Afghanistan, also because of situation in the Middle East. This region is always keep the finger crossed that whether terrorist elements can enter. But thanks to the administration of this region, thanks to the people of this region, that till now they have been able to hold terrorists outside their territory. And that is why Afghanistan is going to be one of the major issues that these governments are going to talk about, that how can we resolve the Afghanistan issue, given the fact that America had almost failed, Europe also could not do anything, and now it is incumbent upon these regional countries like Russia, China and India, that whether they can contribute, resolve this issue. So if they can resolve this issue, I think there will be a major transition in the whole Asian region, right from Russia to China to India, then you go to Southeast Asia, all these countries will be in a very good condition, good trade situation. Major issue is also, I think, coming up is the issue of connectivity, because for any regional organization, you have to have connectivity. Otherwise, if you don't have connectivity, how can you, contribute to the development, peace and prosperity of the nation? So I think Prime Minister Narendra Modi is going to raise this issue in a big way.
Right, indeed. Connectivity is, of course, one of the issues that the Prime Minister is going to articulate when he addresses the plenary session of the SCO that is slated at around noon today. And on the first day of his visit, PM Modi held delegation-level talks with the top leadership of Afghanistan, China and Russia on the sidelines of the SCO summit. During a late-night meeting yesterday, Prime Minister Modi held bilateral talks with Afghan President Ashraf Ghani and discussed the role being played by India towards an inclusive peace process in the conflict-hit nation. And earlier, PM Modi had also a very excellent meeting with the Russian President Vladimir Putin, where both leaders reviewed all aspects of bilateral relations to further boost the strategic relationship, and defense and energy were key focus during their talks. The two leaders also reviewed trade and investment ties. PM Modi also accepted the invitation extended to him by Putin to be the main guest at the Eastern Economic Forum to be held in Russia in September this year.
तय करें तो समय सीमा में कितना बड़ा काम कर सकते हैं, ये एक उदाहरण आपने प्रस्तुत किया, इसके लिए मैं आभारी हूँ। और इसके मूल में हमारे दोनों के बीच विश्वास और दोस्ती का माहौल बना है, तो उसका तो रोल है ही है। लेकिन भारत के घनिष्ठ और पुराने मित्र के रूप में रशिया की जो भूमिका है, उसका भी बहुत बड़ा रोल है। और इसके लिए मैं फिर से एक बार आपका आभार व्यक्त करता हूँ। ये बात सही है कि हम लोग मिलेंगे, आने वाले दिनों में हम पंजाब जापान में भी मिलेंगे, और वहाँ भी मेरा मत है कि हमारा चाइना, रशिया, इंडिया जो समिट है वो उसको हमने आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए। हमारे बीच भी हमारी मुलाकातें बढ़ती रहनी चाहिए।
President Putin specifically recognized Prime Minister's personal contribution in strengthening this relationship. He mentioned this on more than one occasion. He also specifically said that Russia had conferred its highest award, the Order of St. Andrew the Apostle, on our Prime Minister in recognition of this effort and this initiative that Prime Minister has taken to develop the relationship with Russia. Both leaders recognize the special significance of the partnership as an important pillar for stability in the world of the future. And there was an understanding that this partnership, this relationship, is an old relationship. It is a relationship based on trust between the leadership and between the people, and that this relationship needs to be sustained, it needs to be developed, it needs to be given further encouragement. President Putin has invited the Prime Minister formally to be the main guest for the Eastern Economic Forum at Vladivostok in early September. And Prime Minister has warmly accepted this invitation. So this will be a bilateral visit that Prime Minister will make to Vladivostok in early September as the chief guest for the Eastern Economic Forum, and thereafter for the India-Russia annual bilateral summit.
And Prime Minister's first meeting yesterday was with Chinese President Xi Jinping, where both leaders discussed the full spectrum of bilateral relations, and they vowed to work together to improve the economic and cultural ties. The role of Pakistan in abetting terrorism was also discussed, where India reiterated that Pakistan is not serious about its action against terrorism. Prime Minister Modi also applauded China's help in declaring Masood Azhar as a global terrorist. Remember, this meeting comes a month after United Nations Security Council Committee designated Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorist Masood Azhar as a global terrorist after China lifted its technical hold on the proposal to blacklist him. And briefing the media after the talks, Foreign Secretary Vijay Gokhale confirmed that the Chinese president has accepted PM Modi's invitation to visit India later this year for an informal summit. And in a statement, the Chinese Foreign Ministry in Beijing said that President Xi told Prime Minister Modi that India and China should deepen cooperation by properly handling their differences, and called for strengthening confidence-building measures, that is CBMs, to maintain stability at the border as well.
एक्सेलेंसी, भारत में चुनाव नतीजे के बाद आपका मुझे संदेश मिला और आज दोबारा आपने मुझे बधाई दी। मैं इसके लिए आपका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। और जैसा आपने कहा, आपके साथ आने वाले दिनों में मिल करके बहुत सारे विषयों में हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
Prime Minister in fact said that we have a consistent position with respect to Pakistan. We discuss all issues through a bilateral mechanism, and we look for peaceful settlement through negotiation. We are committed to this process. The Prime Minister recalled that he has made efforts in this regard, and these efforts have been derailed. The Prime Minister did inform President Xi Jinping that Pakistan needs to create an atmosphere free of terrorism, and that at this stage we did not see this as happening as yet, and that therefore we expect Pakistan to take concrete action on the issues that India has proposed, in the areas of concern that we have flagged to Pakistan, that Pakistan should take concrete action in this regard.
All right, let's go back to Akhilesh Suman, who's joining us from Bishkek. Akhilesh, as far as yesterday is concerned, the key meetings that the Prime Minister held was with the top leadership of Afghanistan, China and Russia on the sidelines of the SCO summit. And very interestingly, in the talks with President Xi Jinping, PM Modi reiterated India's stand that Pakistan should take concrete action against terror. This is especially important because President Xi is also expected to meet Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, who is also attending the SCO summit.
Right, Aishwarya, but up to my knowledge, he has not met Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan till now, but naturally he will meet. Other than that, what is most important? The terrorism is one issue that is ailing all the countries. The whole Central Asian region feel always vulnerable about terrorism, and that is why Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that, see, it's not only me, but other countries are also vulnerable. And that is why he said that there is the one country that is, mothership of terrorists, and that is Pakistan. And that is why he said that Pakistan till now has not made any, action, has not taken any action against the terrorism that are there in the country that can be visible, that can be actionable. So in that there is no meaning of talking, but because there has been history between India and Pakistan that if you talk, then there is some terrorist attack, and then again there will be lull in the whole talk situation, and then again it will start, and then again there is an attack. So this is the vicious cycle that comes up from the side of Pakistan, and that is why he has told that now this is time that we should tell Pakistan, we should means the whole SCO members, because what is the importance of SCO if you cannot tackle the issue that is most burning issue, and that terrorism is the most burning issue in SCO. So Prime Minister has very categorically said that in this situation there is no possibility of talks in that way. Aishwarya?
Right. Thank you so much, Akhilesh, for all those updates. We'll keep coming back to you to get more updates from the SCO summit. And back home, today is the 5th day of the junior doctors' strike in West Bengal. And the doctors on strike since Monday are demanding adequate security in government hospitals after 2 doctors were seriously injured by a mob at a Kolkata hospital following the death of a patient. Services have been affected in emergency wards, outpatient facilities and also pathological units of many state-run medical colleges and hospitals due to the strike. Now, the Indian Medical Association has also declared that all India protest day today should be observed against the incident to express solidarity with the striking doctors. The healthcare services at private and government hospitals in the national capital are also likely to be affected today, with the doctors deciding to boycott work for a day today. Union Health Minister Harshvardhan, however, has condemned the violence against doctors in Kolkata, and Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has described the injuries sustained by the junior doctors as unfortunate, and she termed the protests as a political conspiracy. And now an update on cyclone VAYU. Well, sparing Gujarat after changing its course, cyclone VAYU has now moved away from the state coast towards Oman. But before the change in course, now wind speeds of 120 kilometers per hour lashed parts of coastal Gujarat, bringing in heavy rains. And according to the Met Department, heavy rain is likely to continue even today. And as a precautionary measure, Gujarat government will remain on high alert today. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh also reviewed the Navy preparedness along the Maharashtra and Gujarat coast in view of the cyclone. All right, so as far as cyclone VAYU is concerned, it has changed its course. It has moved away from Gujarat and it is now going towards Oman. But it did affect the Gujarat coast. There were wind speeds of around 120 kilometers per hour that lashed parts of coastal Gujarat, and that brought, of course, heavy rains in the coastal areas. And despite changing its course and movement towards Oman, Gujarat is likely to continue with its high alert. And the Met Department says that the rains in coastal areas are likely to continue. And on to some other news. With an already existing 11 crore members, Bharatiya Janata Party is aiming to increase it by 20% more. BJP President Amit Shah has National Office Bearers Meet asked the key party leaders to expand the organization in new regions and bring more people into its fold. Panchanan Mishra brings us this report.
After the massive victory in the recent Lok Sabha elections, the BJP held the first meeting of its national office bearers at the party's headquarters on Thursday. The meeting was led by party president Amit Shah. Shah said the BJP may have notched up its best ever tally in the Lok Sabha elections, but it is yet to reach its peak. The party also has plans to launch a membership drive with the aim of increasing its members by 20%.
श्री शिवराज सिंह जी चौहान जो पार्टी के संसदीय दल बोर्ड के सदस्य भी हैं, राष्ट्रीय उपाध्यक्ष हैं, वो इस सदस्यता अभियान के संयोजक, उनके साथ श्री दुष्यंत गौतम, श्री सुरेश पुजारी, श्री अरुण चतुर्वेदी और श्रीमती शोभा सुरेंद्रन, ये 4 सह संयोजक बने हैं। अब ये जो टीम है, ये टीम बैठ कर के जल्दी ही आपको सदस्यता का ये जो एक वृद्धि का जो एक अभियान पार्टी का हर तीसरे साल होता है, उसके अभियान के बारे में पूरी जानकारी और उसकी डेट शिवराज सिंह जी अभी एक टीम के साथ बैठक करके शीघ्र ही एक निश्चित समय के अंतर्गत ये सदस्यता की जाएगी, उसकी आपको 2-3 दिनों में जानकारी देंगे।
Amit Shah is likely to continue as the party's national president till the organizational elections are over. According to reports, organizational elections will be held within 6 months, after which a new party president will be elected.
2019 के चुनाव के परिणामों का पूरा विषय पार्टी के पदाधिकारियों के सामने रखते हुए पार्टी के अध्यक्ष माननीय अमित शाह जी ने कहा है कि अभी भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी का पीक नहीं आया है। अभी भी जिन क्षेत्रों में पार्टी के कार्य का विस्तार नहीं हुआ है, जिन राज्यों में हमें सफलता नहीं मिली है, समाज के सभी वर्गों तक, सभी लोगों तक पार्टी के काम का, पार्टी की सदस्यता का, परिश्रम के साथ आगे बढ़ाने का पूरा विस्तार करना है।
With 3 assembly elections by the end of this year, it is almost certain that Amit Shah will continue as party president till then. With inputs from Panchanan Mishra, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And the government on Thursday announced a cut in contributions made by employers and employees towards the health insurance scheme of Employees State Insurance Corporation. From the existing 6.5%, it has been brought down to 4%, a move which would lead to an estimated annual savings of around 5,000 crore rupees for firms. The reduced rates will be effective from 1st of July 2019, and it would benefit 3.6 crore employees and 12.85 lakh employers. The reduced rate of contribution will bring about a substantial relief to the workers and facilitate further enrollment of workers under the Employees State Insurance Scheme and bring more and more workforce into the formal sector. And the Indian Air Force on Thursday confirmed the death of all the 13 people on board the recently crashed AN-32 aircraft. The black box of the aircraft has been recovered and paying tributes to the brave air warriors who lost their lives during the crash on 3rd of June. It's said that the force stands by with the families of the victims. The wreckage of the AN-32 aircraft of the Indian Air Force was spotted on Tuesday, 16 kilometers north of Lippo in Arunachal Pradesh, 8 days after it went missing after taking off from Assam's Jorhat district. Now all the action from the ICC Cricket World Cup 2019. Well, the match between India and New Zealand was abandoned yesterday due to persistent rains. The toss was also delayed due to inclement weather, and in the end, it was officially called off. Now, this was the 4th such game in the ongoing tournament that has not yielded any result. The points have been shared between India and New Zealand. Both the teams remain unbeaten in the tournament. And with this result, New Zealand moved ahead of Australia to top the points table with 7 points from 4 matches, while India have moved ahead of England to take the 3rd position with 5 points from 3 matches. And India's next match is against Pakistan in Manchester on 16th of June. And as far as today's match is concerned, England will take on West Indies in Southampton. And in hockey, Indian team will take on Japan in the semi-final of the FIH Series final tournament at Bhubaneswar today. After 3 wins in their name, the world number 5 Indian team will face the tough task of defeating Japan to secure their place in the final of the competition. The Indian team has remained unbeaten in the competition so far, defeating Russia, Poland and Uzbekistan. Japan, on the other hand, finished second in Pool B with 7 points from their 3 matches, behind the United States on an inferior goal difference. And that is the wrap on this edition of Breakfast News. Thanks so much for watching. Have a lovely day ahead.